Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday morning for a hot cup of coffee and a hot cup of the Word of God. So today's Torah portion, the passage we're going to be reading today is from Genesis chapter 34, verses 1 and 2. And it reads, "Now Dinah," who's in the kitchen with Dinah? Who's in the kitchen? I know. Who's Dinah anyway? Says, "Now Dinah, Leah's daughter." Okay, that's who she was. "Now Dinah, Leah's daughter, whom she bore for Jacob, went out to look at the daughters of the land." So she's a foreigner, a foreign girl, a sheltered, strange foreign girl in a strange land. I mean, it's like somebody moving from Kentucky to California or from the United States to Abu Dhabi, right? I mean, it's that drastic of a difference. The culture is different. The language is different. The customs are different. Now, Dinah, Leah's daughter, whom she bore for Jacob, went out to look at the daughters of the land. She was curious, right? But the thing is, she left without an escort. She left without the protection of her big brothers. She went out by herself. She may have snuck out from home, you know, kind of like a girl being grounded to her room, and she sneaks out the second-story window with a bed sheet and runs and goes to a party, right? Kind of one of those deals. That may have been what was happening, because Dinah, at her age, she was barely a pubescent teen. In that culture in the Middle East, you didn't go anywhere as a young person that didn't reach adulthood properly without a male escort from your family. So it says that she went out to look at the daughters of the land. Verse 2, "When Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, he took her and lay with her and raped her." That would have never happened if she didn't have an escort, right? Now, Dinah was raised sheltered and protected by her brothers. Dinah felt like, she was maybe missing out on the world, because there was so much more to the world than what she knew of the compound of her family as they were traveling around like nomads. So Dinah, like an Amish youth on Rumspringa, goes out unescorted and naive into the dangerous world, and she gets hurt. So we know that the Amish, they live very sheltered lives, but once they reach adulthood, as far as concerned by their community, like in the teenage years, kind of similar to in the Jewish culture, where you're considered an adult in the community at age 13, perhaps, it's kind of the same thing with the Amish. When they go out and they're young people, they're still naive, so they feel that if they send them out into the world, that it'll squelch that temptation or that curiosity they have about the world. When they see how bad the world really is, it's going to make them want to run back home and remain a part of the Amish community. We know that's not always what happens, but that's the principle behind that. Well, this is kind of what happens with Dinah. She's like one of these Amish youth on Rumspringa. She's wanting to experience the world. She's wanting to let her hair down. She's wanting to know what all the hubbub is all about, of all the stuff she hears when her brothers are talking to the merchants that they pass by. So she ends up going out unescorted and naive into the dangerous world and gets hurt. The world has nothing to offer. All you need is at home. And the older I get and the more that I learn about this world, I was curious just like every other youth out there, but the more that I live, it's like, like Solomon, he says, I've been there, done that. I've tried everything. And here's the conclusion of the matter. Nothing means anything except to fear God and keep his commandments. That's the only thing that has any value in this world. And I feel the same way. There's a lot of things I used to be excited about that I don't really care about anymore. A lot of stuff in regards to pop culture, because I've realized the only thing that I really need is at home. And where is my home? My home is in the bosom of God. My home is with Yeshua, my Messiah. My home is with my brothers and sisters in the Lord. That's really all that I need. And I'm not sticking my head in the sand and denying that things are happening in the world. It's just I choose not to be a part of it. I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world, and I'm much more happier and much more blessed as a result. So Dinah learns the hard way that all she ever needed and all that ever means anything to her is at home. Luckily, we read later that her brothers go in and rescue her from her rapist, and they move on her way, but she's damaged, forever damaged as a result. And sometimes we have heads like the Fort of Hard Knocks, you know? I mean, we're stubborn and we have to learn the hard way. But hopefully we can learn from our mistakes and avoid pitfalls similar in the future. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and God bless.